It's unbelievable that traitor Harry is about to have the opportunity to return to the royal family to meet and talk with King Charles. This really has sparked a strong wave of public opinion because nobody wants to welcome Harry to the UK. We will update you specifically on how this incident occurred in this video. This week, a royal author has made the claim that King Charles is more forgiving with Prince Harry than he is with Prince William. And this author is claiming that Charles and Harry are probably going to meet up during Harry's return later this spring. So it's expected that Harry will be back in the UK in May, and Mr. Tom Quinn has told the Mirror it won't be quite so difficult for Harry to see his father, although that relationship is also fraught with pain and a sense of grievance. The expert went on to say, but Charles knows Harry had a difficult childhood for which he, Charles, was partly responsible, and so he is more forgiving than William. The author went on to say that the meeting is going to be kept short, because, of course, there are worries that Harry's going to release any details to the public. I'm going to call it, though. This is pure speculation. There is no substance to it. He's probably going to visit with his father, but I don't think any other members of the family are going to want to meet with him. Definitely not the Queen, and definitely not either of the Waleses. So, really, the only criticism I have of the King is his refusal to permanently remove Harry from the royal family. It's about time. Now, if they desire any kind of relationship with the future king and queen, William and Catherine, I advise all other royals to stay far away from Harry. I am convinced that's going to be William's first order of business when he becomes king. Remove the titles and take Harry out of the line of succession. And people do seem to forget that we're not blaming Harry just because he left. That's not the problem. I mean, if Harry had what, about 25 or 30 million in the bank, then he could have bought himself a beautiful, luxurious home, and he could have started a business and also their charitable foundation. They did not need to go live in Montecito and buy a ridiculously expensive house and try to live the lives of billionaires when in fact they're not. They wanted this, let's remember. They chose the easy way out by creating scandals, by making up lies, and by defaming the royal family in the book, in the show they made, and in interviews. So many proven lies have been discovered. Without it, they would have been able to just keep the relationship good with the royal family, which would be a lot better in the long run. I mean, their brand and their business would be much more successful if they actually maintained that relationship. But see, Meghan Markle was too greedy and she was overly ambitious. Prince William and King Charles understand that Harry is more than capable of rushing to see the media and whining if anything annoys him. Want Harry revealing all the details of their private conversations, and honestly, that's the least that he's going to do. He's going to also make up some lies while he's at it. He will exaggerate everything, and he'll even make stuff up, because he will have heard what they didn't say. Harry knows good and well that the family follows the rule of Her Late Majesty the Queen never explain, never complain, and they're never going to say anything, and he takes full advantage of that. So I think the king should be very, very cautious when meeting his son. Harry is no longer under the protection of the royal family, and maybe he's not making good choices about who he spends time with. I think it's important that we not allow Prince Harry to tarnish the royal family. I also think it would be a very good idea for the king to have his wife Camilla there. Harry has got to find out that in order to have any relationship with his father, he's got to accept and respect Camilla as his father's wife. And the king really needs her support right now, and he needs her support during any meeting with Harry. There needs to be somebody trustworthy there, somebody who can keep what is said confidential, and who won't put up with Harry trying to overstep any boundaries. Now, if Harry wants to, he can choose not to have a relationship with his father, but the king should never have to make the choice between his son and his spouse. That's ridiculous. And it is up to us, the public, to refuse to let any meeting tarnish the royal family. Only if we believe everything Harry says, and only if we allow his betrayals to influence us, can his behavior actually hurt the royal family. And I hope they thoroughly check Harry for recording devices, cameras, and all that. And he also needs to sign an oath promising that anything said in private remains private. I keep thinking, though, what is the point of a meeting between Charles and Harry? What could they possibly even talk about? I mean, Harry, if you're trying to get more money or trying to weasel your way back in as a working royal, the answer is no, and it's going to stay no. I don't think that King Charles is that much of a pushover. And I seriously doubt that King Charles would let the rest of the royal family, I'm talking about Camilla or Prince William, or the people of the UK for that matter, down by letting Harry just waltz back in after such disgusting behavior. Harry lived a very privileged lifestyle. I mean, come on, his whole life he's been overprivileged. He came from a very loving family. I know he tries to act like his father didn't give him enough attention, but I don't believe that. He cared so much about him, and he had advantages that most of us could only dream of. William also lost his mother, let's remember that. And he's also got the burden of the monarchy on his shoulders and the responsibility of producing heirs. And he also had to find a suitable wife. Now, he did a great job of that. I'm just sick and tired of hearing how difficult Harry's life has been. He was such a fortunate young man. Every concession was made for him, and he was supported by his family, by his aunts, his uncles, his cousins, and also his loving grandparents. He was also sheltered by the army when he was serving. It's past time for Harry to grow up. He has got to stop acting so immature. I also do not understand how, after everything Harry has said, after all the accusations, after all the awful things that he has said about Camilla, how can he expect Charles to welcome him back and just forgive him? And not only that, but Harry already understands how Charles feels about William and Catherine and their family, and especially at this time, he's not going to do anything to cause them further stress. Honestly, I hope King Charles can't find the time to meet with Harry. That's what he deserves. And if he does decide to meet with him, then he needs to let Harry know that under no circumstances whatsoever is Harry allowed to make any demands on how the meeting goes. That means he can't be telling Charles that he doesn't want Camilla there, and he cannot object to having somebody else there. I hope this meeting goes like the last one did, about 12 minutes, and then bye bye, Harry. And I think this is just more PR that's coming directly from Meghan Markle. Boy, don't they have some audacity, though, declaring that Harry's going to meet the king, especially when they didn't even have the courtesy to ask if it would work for King Charles. I mean, his schedule is busy, and they didn't even bother asking whether or not it's safe to do so from a medical perspective. Another question I think we should be asking is, does the king even want to meet with Harry? Honestly, I suspect this is just a repeat of the last little meeting. And what about their globally published statement of 2020 declaring their half in, half out status after quitting their jobs without even first discussing it with the late Queen? Now, since Harry has failed to obtain the security that he wants, I guess Meghan has a good reason to not come with Harry, and they shouldn't allow the invisible children to come without her. I knew that she would come up with something. Again, we see that Harry's desire to bring his children to meet his side of the family is ignored. Honestly, folks, at this rate, those kids are never even going to set foot in Britain until they're about 20, again, if they're even real. I also believe that Harry was told, and I'm sure it was offered by his family back then, that he needed psychological counseling to help him with his sense of loss and grief after his mother passed away. William has already told us that Harry went to counseling sessions, but I guess it was not the kind of help that Harry needed. I mean, Harry clearly resisted William's advice. Though it doesn't make sense for anybody to be concerned anymore about Prince Harry's childhood, and he doesn't need any coddling anymore either. And I'm not even sure that what Harry believes is true. I kind of don't think it is. Harry himself has said that his memory is not all that reliable. Could Charles possibly be responsible for Harry's difficult childhood? Well, no. I mean, let's remember, his mother, while she was still living, bless her heart, she had her flaws, she had her problems. I mean, just think about all the male companions she had. She was the one who left him feeling deserted. That was not Charles's fault. Also, don't believe anybody could blame Charles for how Harry has turned out. It's not Charles's fault that Harry did all that partying. It's not Charles's fault that Harry decided to wear a Nazi uniform. Charles didn't tell Harry to strip down in Vegas and get caught. I mean, Harry has made so many bad choices all on his own. And now he's almost 40 years old. It's about time he faced the fact that his mother was no angel. She was human like the rest of us, and Charles is too. It's high time that Harry took some responsibility for himself. And I know that King Charles still loves his son, but he has got to stay vigilant around him, and he needs to keep this visit as short as possible because Harry can't be trusted. The king has more than enough on his plate right now. I mean, he's facing cancer treatment. He shouldn't have to worry about drama coming from Harry. And King Charles also needs to do whatever he has to protect himself from anything that could affect his healing. Nothing either of them has to offer King Charles is going to be good for his health. I can tell you that right now. And at this point, Harry has already proven himself to be an unworthy member of the royal family. He's way below what we would expect of even the lowest of the low. I mean, he's lower than any celebrity out there. The royal family is famous, but Harry and Meghan Markle are more notorious. We also need to give the king credit where credit is due. Nobody knows what he really thinks. Nobody knows what he tells Camilla behind closed doors. I mean, let's remember what he has done. Well, he took Frogmore away. He has stopped Harry's allowance. He made him sit 3 or 4 rows back at public ceremonies, and he only saw him for what, 12 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes max? So I think, I mean, in spite of all the journalistic press speculating that Harry and Meghan are coming back, I think we can safely say it's not going to happen. Because the king's actions do speak louder than words, I think Harry and Meghan are slowly but surely being erased from the royal family, much like Wallace and Edward, who came before them. The crown is the most important thing to protect. Harry was also demoted as a counselor of state, and he's not allowed to be involved in the current discussions about the line of succession. Slowly but surely, he and Meghan are being phased out. As they say, once trust is broken, you can't unbreak it. You can never get it back. I mean, this is a almost 40-year-old man baby trying to weasel his way back into the family after all the nasty things he has said and all the nasty things he encouraged Meghan Markle to say. So the Bank of Daddy is the only thing he really wants, and I'm pretty sure the Bank of Daddy is closed. That's all the information and also my personal opinion about whether Harry and King Charles are going to meet during Harry's return later this spring. How do you feel about this? Please leave a comment to let us know. If you have any comments or suggestions for us, we are so grateful and we really appreciate it, so don't be afraid to let us know. Goodbye, and I'll be back to see you tomorrow.